Dartmouth to me is an incredibly unique institution. I don't think there's any other school out there that has the same focus on the students of all the major research universities out there, and that creates a combination that's just incredible. For me, what that meant was you have a holistic education. It has helped me incredibly as I went into the energy field. The skill set that I need now is so different than what I needed 5 years ago.
The energy sector is at an inflection point right now. There's never been a more exciting time in the energy world.
Transitioning the energy system from the energy system that got us here to one that can continue to provide affordable, reliable, and accessible power and have it be sustainable is one of the critical problems facing our future.
One of the strengths of Dartmouth is providing students with a really strong liberal arts education that provides students the opportunity to develop a really thorough and broad skill set needed for solving problems.
The importance of energy itself and the issues going on in the energy industry itself are so large right now that we need an institute, and we need leading universities like Dartmouth to be studying these issues and educating leaders for the future in this.
The case of the Irving Institute, I think it's even a bigger opportunity because you're integrating it broadly across the entire college and the 3 professional schools. And it truly is an opportunity to make the whole greater than the sum of its parts.
With the Irving Center, I see an opportunity to create a flywheel that's graduating student after student, well prepared to take on the vexing problems that the energy sector is presenting today and that it will for decades and decades to come. It is my prayer that my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren will come of age at a time when they look back on my generation and the generations around my time, and the only debt they have is a debt of gratitude for us having stared in the face this problem and addressed it using all our skills and talent and resources.
At Dartmouth, we see challenges as opportunities for leadership, and we solve problems by looking at them from every angle, which is why we're undertaking a 7-year, 250,000 square foot transformation of Dartmouth's West End into a center of technology and innovation. It's the largest building project in Dartmouth's history and a $500 million priority of the Call to Lead campaign. 2 new LEED-certified buildings developed at the vanguard of sustainable energy design will be located at the end of Tuck Mall, just a 5-minute walk from the Green. They will join the Tuck School of Business, the world's first graduate school of management and one of the top 10 full-time MBA programs in the country. Thayer School of Engineering, the first engineering school in the U.S. to graduate a majority of women and where half its faculty are successful entrepreneurs, and the Feldberg Business and Engineering Library. At the crossroads of Tuck and Thayer, the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society is a global hub for interdisciplinary research, education, and public programs that will foster new thought and action around our energy future. And the Center for Engineering and Computer Science is a state-of-the-art research and teaching facility where the institution that pioneered basic computer language and first coined artificial intelligence will pursue tomorrow's groundbreaking technological advances. This facility places computer science and engineering along with the Magnuson Center for Entrepreneurship together under one roof. But this is more than a new set of buildings. This is a revolution in how we think, teach, learn, and lead. Where state-of-the-art classrooms, makerspaces, and a dozen major labs will drive hands-on scholarship and collaboration across disciplines, across generations, so that the whole will always be greater than the sum of its parts. With the new West End District, imagine what learning will look like when every student can explore technology within the liberal arts. Imagine the leaders Dartmouth will prepare, ready and able to solve the toughest problems through innovation and collaboration. Imagine what the world could be with the discoveries made here every day.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us today as we raise the final beam for the new home of the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society at Dartmouth. 4 years ago, on a bright, crisp autumn day, we announced the creation of this institute. We did so to galvanize the intellectual might of this institution around a truly global ambition: to advance an affordable, sustainable, and reliable energy future for the benefit of society. We dedicated ourselves to this field of interdisciplinary scholarship because we believe it's an area where Dartmouth can have global impact. In its name, the Institute honors a global leader in the energy field and a great friend of Dartmouth, Arthur Irving. Arthur, his wife Sandra, and their daughter Sarah, a graduate of the college and of Tuck, were moved to help us establish this institute because of their conviction that there is something inherently special about our students and the power of the Dartmouth community. With this institute, he is helping to create something for the ages with worldwide reach. We're honored to have Arthur, Sandra, and Sarah Irving with us today, and we're looking forward to hearing from them in just a few moments. We'll also hear from the inaugural director of the Arthur Irving Institute, Elizabeth Wilson, as well as the project architect, Roger Goldstein of Goody Clancy, and students and faculty who are engaged in learning and research through the Institute today. But before I invite Elizabeth to share a few words, let me just say this: there's no site on campus more symbolic of our commitment to solving the global energy challenge and preparing future energy leaders than the Institute's new home. Standing proudly at the end of Tuck Mall, between Thayer and Tuck, and only a short walk from all the offerings of arts and sciences, the physical location of the Arthur L. Irving Institute reflects the centrality of its mission to Dartmouth and to the world. This is a place where students and faculty will come together, inviting alumni and industry leaders into the fold to take on one of the great challenges facing humankind: how we meet the energy demands of the future in a way that sustains the planet while combating climate change. We will examine these issues through a multitude of lenses, including the arts, humanities, and health, to name a few, in rigorous pursuit of insights and solutions. This is our unique ability and our sincere commitment. And if we were holding the ceremony in person today, you'd see that we're just steps away from the site of the new Center for Engineering and Computer Science. Yet what we're creating in the West End is so much more than a set of new buildings. It's a nexus of collaboration, a revolution in how we think, teach, learn, and lead. Here now to tell you about all the Institute has achieved to date and all that lies ahead is my esteemed colleague, Elizabeth Wilson.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Wilson. I'm the founding director of the Arthur Irving Institute for Energy and Society and a professor in the Environmental Studies Department here at Dartmouth. One of the things that has been so exciting in my 3 years at Dartmouth is really laying the foundation for our energy and society work here and across campus. We have programs that engage students from the courses we offer. I'm teaching Environmental Studies 12, Energy and Environment, but we also have a lot of co-curricular activities. Students are involved in Energy 101. Students participate on our energy experiential trips that have been taking them to Appalachia and West Virginia, as well as to the Gulf Coast, where they get to see and experience energy infrastructure firsthand and personally. Now, in this COVID year, that last piece isn't happening. And so we're working really hard to engage with students and faculty and staff and alumni in different ways. We've started a bunch of different programs that are trying to highlight the work of our alumni in the energy sector, our Energy Spark series. We're also working with students in our Energy 101 series. We had 180 people sign up this year to participate and learn the very basics of how the energy system works. And we have our lunch series, our Dartmouth Energy Collaborative Lunch in conjunction with the Thayer School of Engineering, with the Tuck Rever Center, and with the Sustainability Office, where we highlight speakers on energy and society-related issues. My favorite is a series we started called New Energy with 16 other universities that highlights the research, the work of young assistant professors, postdocs, and researchers all around the world. And having them engage with us on these energy and society topics really allows for us to engage in some of these deeper discussions and conversations. As we go forward, we'll also be concentrating more on research. We've been very happy these first few years with the work we've been doing in conjunction with the Cold Regions Research Lab right up the road. And thinking about future research opportunities has been something that our Irving Seed Grants have really been able to spur. Some of our seed grants have already led to other funding from the National Science Foundation, and it's been really wonderful to see our colleagues across Dartmouth come with very different energy and society-related questions. As the new building opens, we're really excited for embracing a future of bringing Dartmouth together. As we're at the crossroads between the Thayer School of Engineering, the Tuck School of Business, and Arts and Sciences, we'll be able to have practitioners come in, members of the community, and really craft energy conversations that allow us to think about the energy systems of the future that we're all responsible for creating. One of the things that we all appreciate is how our current energy infrastructure isn't up for the task in the world we're moving into. And so allowing people to think about reliable, affordable, and accessible energy systems in a climate-changing world really requires all of us and all of our skills. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support in building the new Irving Institute for Energy and Society here on campus.
Okay, I'll pause this.
Is this good? Yeah.
Are you impatient to sort of change the world?
There is a way.
As soon as possible, yes.
Yes, I am very impatient to change the world.
Dartmouth students in general are really outside of the box thinkers.
They actually want to understand a problem and understand how to solve that problem and then go out and do it.
The current generation of students very clearly sees the problem and they want to do something about it. And that's exactly the kind of spirit we need to have in order to make some real progress here.
I've actually spent all of my life in Nigeria, and there are parts of the country where there's literally no access to electricity. For me, I've seen how the poor electricity affects the quality of life of people at the personal level.
But I didn't really even hear the term climate change until 7th grade. And I felt like I should go for this issue. Like, I feel like I could do something with this.
I was super fortunate and super grateful to be the recipient of an Irving Institute mini grant this year. And then we looked at how cultivated meat uses a lot less energy than the production of conventional meats.
I've realized My passion for sustainability within particularly the built environment, the energy that we use just in all of the buildings we have and the structures we make.
And whether you're a poet or a deep scientist, there are all of those different perspectives and brains are the ones that we're going to need to not just fix a problem, but to reimagine what the problem is so that we can figure out more and more solutions.
But I think it's illustrative of sort of the liberal arts education that you get at Dartmouth, right? You learn how to think systemically and think holistically about problems.
So there are technologies that we have now that policymakers didn't have 20 or 30 years ago. What the Irving Institute does is to provide opportunities to students to become the next generation of leaders in energy. And we need those leaders.
If we create this type of space and we fill it with really enthusiastic, eager young minds, we're going to solve problems that we didn't know even exist yet.
There are so many things to be proud of in terms of our association with Dartmouth and our association with the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society. And that organization, in just a small number of years, has taken the concept of forward thinking in energy and society and translated it into something that is real and is paying dividends right now.
When I first discussed the concept of an Energy Institute at Dartmouth with Arthur and Sandra Irving, they were immediately engaged. Having seen their daughter Sarah earn both her undergraduate degree and MBA here, they were already familiar with our strengths, namely our breadth of expertise and our ability to respond nimbly to complex challenges, our commitment to experiential learning for all students, and our willingness to think big and take chances. And ever since that first discussion, they've been all in. With the Arthur L. Irving Institute already enabling faculty and students to explore the energy space in myriad ways, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Arthur, Sandra, and Sarah Irving.
When they asked me if they could put my name on the building, I considered it a great honor, and I thank Dartmouth College for doing that. Thank you very much, everybody that's working on the, and men and women that are working on the project. I want to thank you because you play a very important part in this project, and it's going to be here for a long time there, and I'm really impressed with how you're giving it your all there to give us a good building. We've got great architects there, our friends from Boston there, Goody and Clancy, have given us great plans there, and you're following them along. And the steel is up now. We're going to get in the interior and other parts of it completed. But thank you very much, and I know how hard you work, and it's appreciated by the university and by us, and look forward to maybe shaking hands with you sometime.
I think there's a lot about the building and about the Institute that's about energy and society and bringing people together, and I think the building really stands for that.
We really think of it as a coming together place at Dartmouth, and that's very much what Arthur likes to do. He likes to bring people together.
In 2006, I was lucky to find myself as a freshman at Dartmouth and absolutely loved my experience as an undergrad there, and returned in 2012 for my MBA at the Tuck School of Business, and an experience I absolutely loved. And so Dartmouth has a very special place in my heart.
Some of the happiest times of Dartmouth were when we would visit Sarah, because she rowed for Dartmouth. So Arthur and I would never miss any of her rowing. I know that when she graduated in 2010, when we were leaving and flying over the hills of New Hampshire, I thought, oh, I hope we come back. I always thought, I hope we have a reason to come back.
I can think of no better place than Dartmouth to bring together future business leaders, future engineers, undergraduates in the liberal arts to look at energy challenges and address them from that multidisciplinary approach that I think can have a real impact on the world.
In 1 year from now, it'll be open. Right now, we're locked down in north of the border. We don't like that because this is the first time in the history of the world that we haven't had a free access to the United States.
and we're good neighbors, we're good friends, and we can't get along without one another. So we're looking forward to everybody getting well and the borders opening up again. And
we've all been very much part of the architecture of the building. And I think one of our earliest thoughts from the beginning was that the school be full of light. And so the architects were very sensitive to that. And so I think the meaning of that is that the school itself will be a beacon of light. And I think it's wonderful for what that means for not only the school itself, but what a beacon of light means to the outside world as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Roger Goldstein, Principal in Charge for Goody Clancy Architects, the designers of the Irving Institute for Energy and Society, and I'm delighted to be here as part of your topping off ceremonies today. Our design approach for this project blends a series of targeted ideas. The first is that this is a building that is very much of the Dartmouth campus. It's a good neighbor to Thayer and Tuck, and simultaneously that it expresses the aspirations and innovation that the Irving Institute programs will generate. At the same time, we're connecting to Murdo on multiple levels. Not an easy task given its age and its position. And finally, that we're opening up the south connector between the Tuck Mall and the West End, which we feel will immeasurably contribute to the quality of the pedestrian environment in the West End. This is a building focused on collaboration. Every aspect of the interior, from the open office areas to the flexible furniture to the high degree of internal transparency, is meant to evoke and support interaction. In a few moments, you're going to see a wonderful virtual tour of the building in which you'll get a glimpse at the primary areas of the Irving Institute. The atrium, which we see as the new living room for the West End, the project labs and research labs, the first floor cafe, and the Dartmouth Sustainability Office, which occupies a prominent position at the front of the building on the ground floor. And now, please enjoy the virtual tour of the Irving Institute.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this special day at the Dartmouth campus. I'm James Pike, Senior Project Manager for the construction of the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society. I have the great pleasure of directing the installation of the final beam as part of our topping off ceremony. I would like to thank all the stakeholders who have guided this project to where it is today. The building will be an amazing and welcome addition with sustainable and energy performance goals surpassing anything built on campus to date. Dartmouth has been constructing high-performance buildings for over 30 years, each being better than the last, and this is no exception. Sustainability and energy performance can't be achieved without full collaboration, and the entire team, led by Goody Clancy, has left no stone unturned. A typical efficient academic building will use over 50,000 BTUs per square foot per year, and we are targeting less than 20,000. Dramatic reductions can be achieved by designing and implementing a superior building envelope and high-efficiency HVAC and lighting systems, but that is only part of the story. We've also introduced some firsts to Dartmouth, including automated exterior shades, ceiling fans, a double skin glass facade, a year-round natural ventilation system, and the distribution of natural daylight to 91% of the building. The project is targeting a LEED Platinum rating by maximizing energy points, reducing water use, installing a photovoltaic system on the roof, and making healthy material choices. These selections range from the concrete mix design to low carbon insulation and include products with recycled content. We will also use responsibly forested wood, including that from Dartmouth's second land grant. Additional local materials include granite harvested in Barrie, Vermont, and bricks manufactured in Auburn, Maine. Of course, none of this is possible without the hard work of our local construction crews. Led by Turner Construction, when the project is complete, over 30 subcontractors and 500 workers will have a part in delivering this building. To date, we have poured over 2,000 yards of concrete and erected over 1.5 million pounds of steel. With years of design work and thousands of construction hours already behind us, we are excited to reach this topping off milestone. The ceremonial beam is a structural element in the fan room on the roof. Fittingly, the fan room is at the heart of the natural ventilation system that makes this building so unique and energy efficient. Galvanized as it remains exposed, the signatures on the beam, representing many of those who have had a part in the project, will remain visible for the life of the building. The history of placing a tree on a ceremonial beam is disputed, but many believe it dates as far back as the first Egyptian pyramid. Regardless of origin, we believe it brings good luck to the building occupants and a safe construction project. For this project, the Canadian flag joins the American flag to acknowledge our wonderful partnership with friends to the north and in other regions, both near and afar.
Today's celebration gives us hope and signals our unwavering resolve to serve society with the best of what Dartmouth has to offer. So I'd like to close by thanking all of those who have so generously invested in this enterprise. Remarkably, the Arthur L. Irving Institute will be realized entirely through philanthropy. To date, we've raised an extraordinary $140 million of the $160 million needed to construct this exceptional facility and to endow a dynamic program of education, research, and outreach. I especially want to thank Irving Oil Limited, the Arthur L. Irving Family Foundation, and Arthur L. Irving, Sandra Irving, and Sarah Irving for their historic investment and leadership. And I'm equally grateful for the scores of Dartmouth community members who have joined them in gifts large and small to bring us to this exciting juncture. I'd also like to thank the talented construction crews, architects, and members of our planning, design, and construction shop who have done such an incredible job on the building to date. In just one more year, I expect we'll be assembled together in person to officially dedicate the new home of the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society. And what a day that will be. So if you're inspired to help Dartmouth create an institute of singular impact in the field of energy and complete our funding goal before next fall, I invite you to join us. Dartmouth, like all of society, is negotiating a series of complex challenges in the current moment. In spite of it all, and in the spirit of our 250-year heritage, we remain committed to preparing students who use what they learn here today to shape a better tomorrow. And I can't wait to see the positive impact of this institute's work for generations to come. Thank you all again for joining us today, and please stay healthy and safe.
From the very beginning, there's been so many people who have put so much energy and passion into the vision and the dream of what the Institute would one day become. And so with thanks to President Hanlon for the vision of what this Institute would be, and to Bob Lasher and to Joe Hebley and to Bob Hansen, who were involved in the initial planning stages and the vision, along with so many others that we would love to thank today. To the team at the Institute who have started to really build the initial days of the Institute in engaging students, led by Elizabeth Wilson with her team, Stephen and Amanda and Kristen, and for all of the work that they do every day, along with many others, and continuing to build the engagement and the programming of the Institute. And to the advisory board, who have come together and given so much of their energy, time, and passion, led by Scott Fisher and many Dartmouth alumni who truly have a passion in being involved in the Institute and for everything that they give back. And a very big thank you to everybody who's been involved in the vision and dream of what this Institute is and what it will be for so many Dartmouth students today and long into the future, because the topics of energy and society will continue to evolve, but they will always be ones that will best be addressed by bringing people together from diverse backgrounds and experience, and as strong thought partners of how do we tackle these greatest challenges. And I can think of no better place to do that than Dartmouth College. So with thanks to all of you for making this dream a reality.
Dartmouth to me is an incredibly unique institution. I don't think there's any other school out there that has the same focus on the students of all the major research universities out there, and that creates a combination that's just incredible. For me, what that meant was you have a holistic education. It has helped me incredibly as I went into the energy field. The skill set that I need now is so different than what I needed 5 years ago.
The energy sector is at an inflection point right now. There's never been a more exciting time in the energy world.
Transitioning the energy system from the energy system that got us here to one that can continue to provide affordable, reliable, and accessible power and have it be sustainable is one of the critical problems facing our future.
One of the strengths of Dartmouth is providing students with a really strong liberal arts education that provides students the opportunity to develop a really thorough and broad skill set needed for solving problems.
The importance of energy itself and the issues going on in the energy industry itself are so large right now that we need an institute, and we need leading universities like Dartmouth to be studying these issues and educating leaders for the future in this.
The case of the Irving Institute, I think it's even a bigger opportunity because you're integrating it broadly across the entire college and the 3 professional schools. And it truly is an opportunity to make the whole greater than the sum of its parts.
With the Irving Center, I see an opportunity to create a flywheel that's graduating student after student, well prepared to take on the vexing problems that the energy sector is presenting today and that it will for decades and decades to come. It is my prayer that my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren will come of age at a time when they look back on my generation and the generations around my time, and the only debt they have is a debt of gratitude for us having stared in the face this problem and addressed it using all our skills and talent and resources.
At Dartmouth, we see challenges as opportunities for leadership, and we solve problems by looking at them from every angle, which is why we're undertaking a 7-year, 250,000 square foot transformation of Dartmouth's West End into a center of technology and innovation. It's the largest building project in Dartmouth's history and a $500 million priority of the Call to Lead campaign. 2 new LEED certified buildings developed at the vanguard of sustainable energy design will be located at the end of Tuck Mall, just a 5-minute walk from the Green. They will join the Tuck School of Business, the world's first graduate school of management and one of the top 10 full-time MBA programs in the country. Thayer School of Engineering, the first engineering school in the U.S. to graduate a majority of women and where half its faculty are successful entrepreneurs, and the Feldberg Business and Engineering Library. At the crossroads of Tuck and Thayer, the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society is a global hub for interdisciplinary research, education, and public programs that will foster new thought and action around our energy future. And the Center for Engineering and Computer Science is a state-of-the-art research and teaching facility where the institution that pioneered basic computer language and first coined artificial intelligence will pursue tomorrow's groundbreaking technological advances. This facility places computer science and engineering along with the Magnuson Center for Entrepreneurship together under one roof. But this is more than a new set of buildings. This is a revolution in how we think, teach, learn, and lead. Where state-of-the-art classrooms, makerspaces, and a dozen major labs will drive hands-on scholarship and collaboration across disciplines, across generations, so that the whole will always be greater than the sum of its parts. With the new West End District, imagine what learning will look like when every student can explore technology within the liberal arts. Imagine the leaders Dartmouth will prepare, ready and able to solve the toughest problems through innovation and collaboration. Imagine what the world could be with the discoveries made here every day.